Hello and welcome to the Presero training series. In this lesson, we will be covering the shopping cart checkout settings for a site. We will begin by logging into the Presero account with the information that has been assigned to you. To view your settings for the checkout page, we will go into the sites, open the site you are working with, click on Settings, and down to Settings under General tab. If we scroll down, we will see the checkout section. Based on the site type, B2B or B2C you are working with, the options in the checkout section will vary. First, we will see the capture requested ship date, a date picker option to provide a calendar the customer can use to select the desired shipping date based on settings you have created for a product when it is in stock or out of stock. These dates are used for both the requested ship date and projected ship date fields found on order reports and the checkout page. It has four options. Use default uses the product's in stock, out of stock days to determine the earliest possible default date that can be selected and display that on the calendar. The customer can select a later date based on the products in the cart. The projected ship date will show the same as requested ship date. With required, a calendar will be presented to the customer at checkout and will not display a default date. The end user must select a date from the allowed date shown on the calendar. The projected ship date will show the same as requested ship date the customer selects. With optional, a calendar will be presented to the customer at the checkout and will not display a default date. The end user may select one if they wish from the allowed dates based on the products being ordered, but it is not necessary that they do so. If they do not select a date, then the requested ship date field will be null. If no date is selected by the customer, the projected ship date field will use the in stock, out of stock days and provide that date on the reports, confirmation page, etc. With do not ask, it does not show a calendar in the shopping cart and does not add a date in the requested ship date field. It shows as null. The projected ship date field will use the in stock, out of stock days based on the items in the order. Capture billing address, available only for B2B sites. If this box is checked, the user will be required to choose a billing address. If it is not selected, the location associated with the buyer's location will be used. If the site address book mode is set to location, then the user's bill to location will be the one set in the primary location. If the site's address book mode is set to address or both, the user's default bill to location will be their primary address as set in their address book. In B2C site, we have Allow Guest Checkout. By choosing this option, you will allow buyers to purchase from you without creating an account. At the completion of the checkout process, the site will automatically create an account for the buyer and send an email with the account information. If the site is using explicit consent, this option will be disabled. Bill to address, available in B2B sites only. This allows you to set up the bill to address for all orders to one of the site's location, available for the address book mode of locations or both. When used, the buyer will not be asked to choose a bill to address when checking out. Budget prompt, also for B2B sites only. Depending on how this site is used, you may wish to change the text that displays to the customer in the budget selection area at checkout. Enter the text to prompt the users for the budget selection. With Enable Budget, also for B2B sites only, check this box to enable the budget tracking feature, which allows you to configure predefined budget pools. When this is checked, customers will be required to select from a budget pool at checkout. If the customer does not have access to a budget or only has access to a budget with inadequate funds, the customer will be unable to check out. eDoc Builder file type for proofs. When using eDoc Builder for your products, you can choose to include a proof file on the confirmation page when your customer completes their order. By default, this is set to a PDF file. You have the option of having a JPG or PNG file available for download instead. Please note that both of these other file types are image files, so only the first page of the proof file will be available. Purchase order requirement. You may choose to require a purchase order entry on the checkout page, make it optional, or not even ask. Please note that the settings can be overwritten on the user level. With validate PO number entry, available for B2B sites only, when one or more PO numbers are available to your customer, they will be provided in a drop-down list in the storefront. Select this option if you do not want to provide a drop-down list, but instead require them to enter a PO number and have it validated against the numbers available. List PO codes based on billing location, also for B2B sites only. On the checkout page of a B2B site, PO numbers can be displayed as a drop-down box if the site is set to collect a PO code. If locations are associated with the PO numbers, they by default will be filtered based on the buyer's primary location. If you check this option, the PO code list will be generated by Bill2 instead. Allow custom purchase order code, also for B2B sites only. If purchase order codes have been defined for the user, in the purchase order codes section, the user will see a drop-down list to select the purchase order. If this option is selected, the user will be able to enter a custom purchase order if the appropriate code is not found in the drop-down list. When no purchase order codes are defined, the user will be able to enter a custom purchase order code regardless of this setting. With purchase order prompt, this prompt will appear on the final checkout screen for a purchase order code entry. One way to utilize this feature would be, as example, when you may want to collect a code other than a PO, such as department code, budget code, etc. So this option allows you to customize what the prompt is and use this area for more than just PO codes. With estimated text prompt, on checkout page there is an area for the estimated text. Depending on how this site is used, you may want to change the text that displays here. Thank you for watching this video tutorial.